Welcome in Tuesday afternoon, guys, and we're here on a special little live stream. Dailyn Swain, the Xavier forward, 6'8" forward, he has committed to the University of Texas following a 2-day official visit. Sean Miller's first commitment as the head coach of the Texas Longhorns. The staff is moving at a frantic pace. Also, we broke the news earlier today. We're going to get into Dailyn Swain, talk about him, kind of break him down as a player, where things are at with this roster a little bit, a little on Texas basketball. So should I do hat backwards for this one? Maybe I should. Again, Dailyn Swain commits to the University of Texas, 6'8", sophomore forward. He was recruited by Sean Miller to Xavier out of Columbus, Ohio in high school as a 4-star prospect. He picked, at the time, Xavier over Ohio State, Virginia Tech, Marquette, and a few others. Really talented forward, is a driver, slasher, straight line driver, active defender. You can switch with him all over the field. Played really well in the NCAA tournament in those two games against Texas and Illinois, combined for 38 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 steals in those two tournament games. So if you're averaging those out, that's 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2.5 steals per game in the NCAA tournament this year. In the win over Texas, the loss to Illinois. Dailyn Swain just wrapped up his 2-day visit. He is a Texas Longhorn. If you're just now joining us, a guy that his perimeter game's continuing to improve. You look at where he can go next year, and if he's at Texas for 2 years, and he has a chance to be a tremendous basketball player, a guy that will have a career in basketball. We'll see where that takes him. But the first commitment for Sean Miller is Dailyn Swain. Now, he's not the only visitor on campus. On Texas, OTF broke earlier today that Matthew Abel is also on campus right now. 5-star high school recruit. I'll turn my hat around, I guess. 5-star basketball recruit, Matthew Abel, on campus for an official visit right now. Abel's out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He signed with Miami, was released from that LOI in late February when Jim Larinaga announced his retirement. He's been on visits to Stanford and NC State already here in the last couple of weeks. Matthew Abel's at Texas right now, an elite prospect, a guy that I think could be a first-round pick one day, ranked as a 5-star prospect. We'll see where that goes with Texas, but this is the type of talent I think Sean Miller and his staff are going to relentlessly work and attract to the University of Texas. I'm not saying Matthew Abel's going to Texas. That is a tough recruitment, but the fact that they already got Matthew Abel on campus just, a week and a half in here to the Sean Miller era in Austin says a lot about what this staff is doing. And the portal is moving extremely, extremely fast. More guys going in by the hour. Some of the best players in the portal have gone in recently here in the last couple of days. Texas also will have 2 visitors tomorrow scheduled to be in. That's Ryan Conwell, the 6'4" lefty guard that transferred from Xavier. Really, really good player. Will be one of the top 4-year guards, 4th-year senior guards in college basketball next year, wherever he ends up. It looks like right now that will be Texas or Indiana. He's been at Indiana. He will be at Texas tomorrow. That's Ryan Conwell, originally out of the Indianapolis area, signed with South Florida in high school. He's been to 3 different schools already: South Florida, Indiana State, Xavier. Those last 2 years, he's hit 100 threes, over 200 threes combined, average 16.6 points per game, and over 40% from 3. Ryan Conwell can absolutely score and has a physical body defensively as well. And then Jakari White, 6'3" guard out of North Dakota State, also scheduled to be on campus tomorrow for an official visit. The dead period begins Thursday, and I think Texas could have another visitor this week as well, leading right up into that dead period. So we shall see what happens there. But this staff is off and running now. I think there's 1 spot left to be filled on the as far as the assistant coaching staff goes. Obviously, Chris Ogden stayed on as GM. Sean Miller brought a number of guys at Xavier. He's filling 1 more assistant coach spot. So we'll see what happens there. But Dailyn Swain is a Texas Longhorn, commits to Texas. Giovanni of the NBA Draft Express site, he broke that news that Dailyn Swain will be a Texas Longhorn. Again, huge first commitment for Sean Miller, a guy that's been in his system 2 years. has really elevated his game from year 1 to year 2. 11 points, 5.5 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1.6 steals as a sophomore. You look there, how he really took off as a sophomore, playing 28 minutes per game, quality free throw shooter. That three-point percentage, I look for him to continue to ascend up into the low 30s in his third year in college basketball, but very efficient offensive player. He had some big games throughout the season against quality competition, 10.7 rebounds, 5 assists against Creighton. He had some big games against Butler, but Creighton twice was in double figures in conference play twice. Had 16, 5, and 5 against St. John's. He put up double figures against Marquette. This is a guy who played well, 14 points, 5 rebounds a second time around against St. John's. Had double against Marquette, 13 and 10. UConn was a team that slowed him down better than anybody else this year as far as the teams in conference play. But his best game of the season arguably came in his last game at Xavier in the loss to Illinois in the round of 64. 27 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Hit 3 threes in that game, 10 of 17 from the field, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Was solid against Texas. Didn't make free throws in that game, but 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals in that game. So Dailyn Swain is a Texas Longhorn. So this will start the roster building for the University of Texas. As far as guys still on the roster, look, I think Kendall Weaver wants to return. Nobody's gone in the portal yet. I think Nick Cody, Jamie Vincent, Tremont Mark. The thing I'd say about Tremont Mark, will he test? Just go through the NBA combine, go test the pro waters, and then make a decision on if he wants to come back and where he would come back to. Jordan Pope, a possibility. But I'm really looking at Kendall Weaver. I think he wants to return. And we'll see what happens, right? There's a lot of NIL factors going into all this. I think Jamie Vincent's got a lot of upside. I think Nick Cody's got upside. I can tell you that John Clark, the 6'9" high school signee, top 100 prospect in the country that was signed by Rodney Terry and staff, he does plan to remain at Texas as well. I'm making sure on final word on that. But I was told earlier this afternoon, John Clark wants to be at Texas, plans to stay at Texas and play for the Texas Longhorns. He's got a ton of upside. Just broke his pinky finger on a shooting hand this year and missed the majority of his senior season. So it's going to move fast and fast and furious in the portal. Let me take some questions here real quick. Aloha Traveler, boom, thank you for the super chat. Boom, deserve first commitment for Sean Miller. All right, Texas, can they visit the moment they enter the portal? They have to wait 48 hours to be posted and such. They go in the portal, and there's a 48-hour window for the school that they're at to kind of try to convince them to stay in the portal. After that, after it goes public, they're free to do whatever they want. Joshy Manning, do you think we'll get a couple more commitments for the dead period? Dead period begins at 11:59 p.m. Thursday. We'll have to see on that. Dailyn Swain, there was some chatter during this visit. Oh, he might still visit Arkansas or Kentucky. Probably more agent work in the NIL than anything. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Ryan Conwell, I think, will go to Indiana or Texas. When will he have that decision? We shall see. His visit begins either late tonight or early tomorrow, so he could go into Thursday. We're talking about Ryan Conwell here. Matthew Abel, the high school kid, he may still have a couple other visits. He might go back and check out Miami. We'll have to see on that one. I'm not sure. And then Joshy, man, can you confirm Conwell's on campus later tonight or tomorrow morning? And here's the another one from Woody. Now go get the 7-footer from Arizona. Miller originally recruited him. Yes, that is true. Sean Miller did recruit him originally. We'll have to see which direction that goes. Talking about Vassar from Arizona, really, really good player that Sean Miller did recruit out of high school, and they have had contact with him. But I will say this about the portal in basketball. You're going to see Texas has made contact, had Zoom calls, probably with 40 or 50 guys, because this is the vetting process. Once they get past this vetting process, this stuff only gets real when guys come to campus. So we'll see. Nick Davidson out of Nevada, the 6'10" transfer. The Texas has some interest there. It's really going to come down to who gets on campus. Obviously, it's like anything else. If you don't get him on campus, it ain't happening. So we'll see. But one thing I would say about Sean Miller and the staff is Saturday night, they were working the phones until midnight 30. This staff is motivated. They're relentless. And I think Texas fans are going to be really happy with the product, the roster builds, the players. I think at the high school level that Sean Miller and this staff are going to get on campus, I think is going to surprise people. He is going to recruit. He's going to be able to get a lot of talented guys on campus from the high school ranks. Now, he might only sign 2 or 3 in a class, but just look at how quickly Matthew Abel, the 5-star guard out of Fort Lauderdale, got on campus. Nick asked, some A&M fans seem confident they will get Beard. Any truth to that? I don't know. I said they should throw everything, kitchen sink and everything at Beard. So, but we'll see what happens on that. Where Chris Beard is interesting for me is Indiana wouldn't even give him a sniff. And that is the job he wanted above all others. I was told that by multiple people, but he couldn't even get in the door on that. So what does that do to his psyche as far as the jobs that could come available in the next year? Could he even really get in on those jobs? Great basketball coach, obviously, but what happened at Texas, Indiana didn't even entertain it, fair or not. So what does that do to his psyche as far as other jobs out there? That's the question that I think he's probably, him and his agent are probably balancing right now is, do you stick around at Ole Miss for one more year and then see what pops up? Does Rick Barnes retire at Tennessee, right? I mean, there's some things that could be in play. Does Nate Oates go to the NBA? I mean, there's some things that could happen here in the next year or two, but then you're kind of playing the waiting game. So we'll see what Chris Beard decides to do. If I was A&M, I'd go after him with everything I have because they could not hire a better basketball coach than Chris Beard. So we'll have to see. Some people saying A&M will go after the Tech coach. I don't know. I'm sure they'll place a call, but if his next stop is at Baylor or Kansas, I'd be very surprised whenever those jobs open. So Zane Petty asks, any chance on the UNC Wilmington 7-footer, 280-pounder and athletic? He's an interesting story. He's out of Hoxie, Kansas. He was an offensive lineman. He had some D1 offers as an offensive lineman. He was 6'9". Now he's 6'11". But the UNC Wilmington big man scheduled to be in after the dead period. And again, I love what this staff is doing, man. I mean, they're getting in on a lot of guys. Every guy that I see and you pop on the tape, if you haven't watched them already, I just think these guys are evaluating really well, and future Texas basketball is really, really bright. But we're on this live stream, obviously, for those just joined. Dailyn Swain's committed to Texas, 6'8" that transferred from Xavier. I think he's a big-time basketball player. He made a huge jump from year 1 to year 2 in college basketball. I expect that jump to continue. I think his perimeter game will continue to improve as he gets more confidence and develops that game. But a guy who's a slasher, creates straight line drives, really good defensively because you can switch with him. He can guard 1 through 4s defensively. He makes you better defensively, can guard on the perimeter with that length and that foot quickness. But a guy that doesn't have to have the ball in his hands, he's an efficient player to impact the game offensively. So I believe the 17 shots he put up against Illinois, he had 27, 8, and 3 in that second-round game. That was the most field goal attempts he had in a game this season. I mean, so a very efficient player. He only took 10 or more field goal attempts. I have it at 8 times. 8 times in 34 games and still average 11 points at 5.5 rebounds, 2.6 assists. Also a really good passer. He's a guy who has a good basketball IQ, and that's one of the things. Sean Miller is going to recruit guys that have basketball IQ. The ball's not going to stick. The ball's going to move. The extra pass is going to be made, and you're going to see multiple players on the court that can play in a ball screen game and make plays with the basketball. So I really like this first commitment for the University of Texas and Dailyn Swain. Again, Matthew Abel, before we get out of here, the 5-star guard is on campus right now out of Fort Lauderdale, signed with Miami, got out of his letter of intent. He's visited Stanford, NC State, and now Texas. We'll see where that goes. I think he may be a first-round pick one day. He's tremendous. And then Ryan Conwell scheduled to be on campus tomorrow, the 6'4" lefty guard from Xavier, as well as Jakari White's, the 6'3" guard from North Dakota State, scheduled to be on campus tomorrow. But wanted to give you guys just a little bit. Nick says, has Sean hired any staff yet? Yes. So Chris Ogden retains as the GM. And I think that was a tremendous move by Sean Miller. Then Adam Cohen came with him. His associate head coach came with him from Xavier. Drew Miller, assistant coach at Xavier, came with him, whose dad was a 20-year NBA coach. He was with Sean at Arizona. Then Ryan Reynolds, player ops. Cam Miller, his son. I think the the strength coach will come with him as well. Kettler from West Virginia. I don't have that one 100%. There's still one more assistant coach spot to be filled, which I do think it will be filled here shortly. I've heard a couple of names behind the scenes. We'll see where those goes. One would be very familiar to Texas fans, I'll say that. So we'll see on that. And then what do you ask this one? What about some Europeans? Look, I think Texas is going to recruit international guys, and they're going to recruit international guys heavily. I think this will be a roster. And I'm not saying year one, but I think you're going to see some multiple years in the future with multiple international players on them, whether that's Australia, whether that's out of Europe, whether that's out of Canada. Sean Miller has a real history there, loves to recruit those players. They're very skilled. They play against older players, so they come into the college game ready. So you're going to see that at the future of Texas basketball. Leo says, does Abel have a higher ceiling than Trey Johnson? Yeah, Trey Johnson would be a top 7 pick, man. That one's tough, but I will say this. Abel's kind of come out of nowhere in the basketball world. Really tore it up at the top 100 camp this summer, played really well on EYBL. He's got a lot of upside now. Now, Trey Johnson's a different dude. I mean, Trey Johnson could be a 20-point scorer for a decade in the NBA, in my opinion. And he's going to be a top 7 pick in a loaded draft. But so I don't know if Matthew Abel will be that drafted that high. But I will say this: I think he's got first-round ability. That kid's really, really good. I really like Matthew Abel's game. We'll see where that goes for Texas. Obviously, Texas, Stanford, and NC State originally signed with Miami. So, hey, it seems like there's a lot of Michigan State players entering the portal. We'll see. Zane Petty said word going around the basketball world is that Uric Malgi could be on his way back to Texas. That's one of the guys I was referencing. We'll wait to see when that announcement is, if there's a final. There's 2 or 3 guys that are kind of in the mix there. We'll see which way it actually goes in the end, but we have heard the same things. Ryan Nelson, you think Texas wins a tournament game in year one? Let's see how the roster finishes out. See what happens here with the Texas roster. I think the Texas fans are going to be really happy with the Sean Miller hire. So again, Dailyn Swain commits to the University of Texas, 6'8" forward from Xavier. I think he's got a career in basketball out after he finishes in college, whether that's a really good contract overseas where he can develop into a two-way player in the NBA. We'll see, but he's really talented. I think he's just scratching the surface. I expect his game to go to another level in year 3. He will be a Texas Longhorn. Again, we'll have more coming up. Matthew Abel on campus, 5-star guard, high school guard. Ryan Conwell tomorrow. Jakari White tomorrow. So again, I'm Gerry Hamilton. Thanks for joining in this special little live stream. Congrats to Sean Miller on his first commitment at the University of Texas, and Chris Ogden, Adam Cohen, and the entire Texas staff. Hook 'em, guys.